morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd. Yesterday was Tuesday, April 21st. And tomorrow is going to be the day after number 22. So let's count and see what tomorrow will be. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, which is today. Tomorrow is 23. And then look what's coming up on Friday. There's a birthday cake. So somebody in our class will be turning 5 years old on Friday. We'll have to wait till Friday to find out who that is. That'll be a nice surprise. Let's see if we remember the months of the year. We have that little song that we do, or the chant. Ready? We'll start with January as our first month. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, hooray, hooray, September, October, November, December. These are the months that I remember. And do you remember what season we're in right now? Remember, there's 4 seasons in the year. There's winter, spring, summer, and fall. What season do you think we are in? Winter, spring, summer, or fall? Very good. We are in the season of spring. And what's going to come next? If we have winter, spring, then the season that's going to be coming next will be summer, and then fall. Excellent, boys and girls. This week we are studying ornithology, which is the study of birds, and I know a lot of you have been sending me wonderful pictures of you with your binoculars and some of the birds that you were seeing. Some of you yesterday had a chance to take your binoculars outside and to see pictures, or you were looking at all kinds of birds that were outside. Some of you saw birds in the trees, in the bushes, on the bird feeder. Some of you even saw birds on the ground. So boys and girls, we did learn about looking for colors of birds, but another important way to be able to tell what kind of birds are in your area is to look at what they're doing. Okay? Sometimes they're eating, sometimes they're flying, sometimes they're just perching, sometimes they have their head down this way, sometimes they're standing tall this way, sometimes they might be hopping, or the patterns of their flight. Sometimes they fly and swoop and fly and swoop and fly and swoop. Sometimes they just glide. Look at their feet to see if their feet are gripping or if they're walking like this. And then notice if they're eating, if they're sleeping, if they're building their nests. All those kinds of things help you. Now, in your bird book today, for your bird watching activity, remember we sit quietly for 20 minutes. You can have your binoculars, listen for the sounds that you hear, then turn your binoculars slowly and quietly to that area and really see if you can find those birds. But in your bird book today, there are 2 pages that have the words Bird Watching Bingo at the top. And your family can help you know what kinds of things you're looking for. On the first one, it says a bird hopping. So if you have your Bird Watching Bingo paper in front of you and you see a bird hopping, then you can put either an X on that or you can circle it, and that means that you have that one. Another one says a bird with yellow on it. So if you see a bird with yellow, you can circle or X that. There's even one that has a free space. That means you can circle and X that without having seen any. There's a bird hovering. Hovering means they're over something. A bird in a tree. A bird that's feeding in the air. That means it's eating while it's flying. Another one says a bird with blue, Here's one, a bird with sharp talons. Talons are almost like the nails, its toes, right? Very pointy. Some birds that are hunters need those sharp talons to be able to grab the food that they need and bring it back to their nest. There's also, over here it says, a bird walking. So as you find these things in your 20 minutes, you can put a circle around them or an X on them, and then when the 20 minutes is finished, or if you want to go longer, you check to see if you have 4 things in a row that are crossed off or circled, or going down there are 5 things. See if you have 5 things going down in a row. And you can use whichever bingo, bird watching bingo sheet that you would like. Like I said, there are 2 of them. So if you really like playing bird watching bingo, or if there are 2 of you that are doing it together, maybe you can each do one at the same time and see what happens. Okay, there are different things. This one says a bird swimming, so you'd need to be near water for that to happen. All right, so that will be your activity for today. And I have a story for you today called, I believe it's let me check, Are You My Mother? So that one is by P.D. Eastman. And it's about a bird who hatches from its egg before the mother comes back with the food. And the bird doesn't know who he belongs to. So he goes out searching to find his mother. And then there is a video today on hummingbirds. Now hummingbirds are birds that are very tiny. They migrate, so they come back. Sometimes it's the same hummingbird that comes back the following year. They remember where they lived. And when they migrate back, they actually beat their wings very, very fast. It almost sounds like a bee when it's coming by you because it's small and it makes a buzzing sound. It is the only bird that can fly backwards. And it also can hover in one spot while its wings are beating. So if you have a hummingbird feeder, it puts its beak right into the hole of the flower and it drinks that sweet syrup, the nectar, like butterflies do, and it beats its wings while it's drinking at the same time. Then it backs up and flies away. So if you have hummingbird feeders at your house, just be patient. It takes a while for them to establish themselves and to come back to that same place, but they're a lot of fun to watch. And I know some of the wildflowers that we grew will attract some of the hummingbirds, so you might see them around your wildflower garden if you're growing those seeds. Okay, so we'll be back I'll be back in just a minute. I will show you how to write the numbers 5 and the number 6 today. We have our visitor right now, which is Crystal Ball, is going to stop in and say hello.
Magic, magic, magic ball, please help me to see them all. Shine your light so nice and bright. Tell me now who's in my sight. I see Savannah B. and Colton. I see Addie from Mrs. LaFawn's class. I see Thomas from Miss M's class. And Cameron from Mrs. Kinnear's class. And I see Alex B. from Mrs. Z's class. Have a wondrous Wednesday, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Welcome back. Okay, we are going to show you how to write the numbers 5 and 6. Okay, so if you have your writing paper that we sent you on the link, you can go ahead and use that. If you don't have that available, then what you could do is take a page from your Draw and Write journal and you can follow along on the dotted lines with me. Ready? Okay, we're going to start the number 5. To make the number 5, we start on the top line. I'm going to make a little dot. You don't have to make a dot, I'm just going to show you. Okay, that is where we start the number 5. On the top line, and we make a straight line that comes down to the dotted line. Once you get to the dotted line, you stop. Okay, then you are going to make almost a circle, but you're not going to close it. On the dotted line, you're going to go out, around, circle that touches the bottom line and comes up just a little bit like that. Okay, then take your pencil, go back to that dot where we started on the top line and make a straight line that traces the top line. Okay, I'm going to do this again. Here we go. We start on the top line, straight down to the dotted line, go around like a circle to the right, come down, touch the bottom line, and up just a little bit. Then we go back to our start and trace the line out. That is a number 5. Let's count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm going to do another one. Here we go. Down, around, touch the bottom, come up just a little bit, go back to your start, and trace the top line out just over the round part of the 5. Okay, you are getting to be superstars in writing numbers. Now let's go on to number 6. Number 6 is a little bit easier, okay? I am going to start my 6 a little tiny bit under the top line. Make that dot a little larger. Now you're not going to make a dot, but that dot shows you where to start, okay? And you're going to make what is like a capital C, an uppercase C. So I'm not going to go to the right. I'm going to come back to the left. Watch, I'm going to go up, touch the top line, curve around, almost like an O. Oops. I'm going to touch the bottom line and come around to the middle and curl it back in. So I'm not doing like a G where I come straight in this way. I'm curling it. I'm making a little circle inside part of a circle. Ready? Start at the top, trace around, touch the bottom line, make a circle that comes up to the dotted line and curls back inside. All right, let's try that again. Ready? Start under the top line, go up, around, circle around, come up and in. And that is a number 6. Let's count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more makes 6. Boys and girls, Mrs. Capron is going to read our Bible story today, which is a story about Jesus fishing with his friends.
I'm so happy to visit with you again today and share another of my favorite Bible stories with you. Have you gone fishing yet? Sometimes when I go fishing, I don't catch anything. This is a story about Jesus' friends who went fishing and didn't catch anything until he joined them. Jesus goes fishing. One sunny morning, Jesus stood at the edge of Lake Galilee, teaching people how they could live with joy in their hearts. As he spoke, more and more people crowded around to hear. Jesus had to step into a boat owned by Simon the fisherman. Jesus sat down and from there began teaching the people who had gathered on the shore. When he finished teaching, Jesus said, "Let's go fishing." Simon replied, "Master, we've been fishing all night and didn't catch a thing." Then he sighed, "But if you want us to try again, we will." So they took the boat out into the deep water, and Simon and the other fishermen threw the nets into the sea. Soon they had caught so many fish that the boats almost began to sink. Amazed, Simon fell to his knees. "Master," he said, "I am not good enough to be near you." "Don't be afraid," Jesus said. "Follow me, and you will not just catch fish, you will catch people for God." Simon and the other fishermen left their boats on the beach and followed Jesus. They became his first disciples. Dear God, help me to follow you. And a good lesson, boys and girls, don't ever give up. Just keep trying.
Well, here we are, all ready to start our day bird watching. We've both had our cup of coffee and our breakfast and are lying here on the deck just waiting for birds to come by. Today, Serafina and I are going to play bird watching bingo. We have our bingo sheets ready, just like some of you, and we're going to look for all kinds of things that birds are doing, in addition to the colors that they are. We might see a bird flying through the air. We might hear a bird singing. We might see a bird that even has dots on it. But what I'm really hoping for is to find a bird that is flying in a circle. So, get your bird watching bingo sheets ready, and let's see who can find 4 or 5 things in a row. Happy bird watching bingo!
Hi, today we're going to read chapter 7 from Charlotte's Web, and the title of the chapter is Bad News. Ready? Wilbur liked Charlotte better and better each day. Her campaign against insects seemed sensible and useful. Hardly anybody around the farm had a good word to say for a fly. Flies spent their time pestering others. The cows hated them. The horses detested them. The sheep loathed them. Mr. and Mrs. Zuckerman were always complaining about them and putting up screens. Wilbur admired the way Charlotte managed. He was particularly glad that she always put her victim to sleep before eating it. "It's real thoughtful of you to do that, Charlotte," he said. "Yes," she replied in her sweet, musical voice. "I always give them an anesthetic so they won't feel pain. It's a little service I throw in." As the days went by, Wilbur grew and grew. He ate 3 big meals a day. He spent long hours lying on his side, half asleep, dreaming pleasant dreams. He enjoyed good health, and he gained a lot of weight. One afternoon, when Fern was sitting on her stool, the oldest sheep walked into the barn and stopped to pay a call on Wilbur. "Hello," she said. "Seems to me you're putting on weight." "Yes, I guess I am," replied Wilbur. "At my age, it's a good idea to keep gaining." "Just the same, I don't envy you," said the old sheep. "You know why they're fattening you up, don't you?" "No," said Wilbur. "Well, I don't like to spread bad news," said the sheep. "But they're fattening you up because they're going to kill you. That's why." "They're going to what?" screamed Wilbur. Fern grew rigid on her stool. "Kill you, turn you into smoked bacon and ham," continued the old sheep. "Almost all young pigs get murdered by the farmer as soon as their real cold weather sets in. There's a regular conspiracy around here to kill you at Christmas time. Everybody is in the plot. Lurvy, Zuckerman, even John Arable." "Mr. Arable?" sobbed Wilbur. "Fern's father?" "Certainly. When a pig is to be butchered, everybody helps. I am an old sheep, and I see the same thing. Same old business, year after year. Arable arrives with his 22. Shoots the... Stop, screamed Wilbur. I don't want that. Save me, somebody, save me. Fern was just about to jump up when a voice was heard. Be quiet, Wilbur, said Charlotte, who had been listening to this awful conversation. I can't be quiet, screamed Wilbur, racing up and down. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to die. Is it true what the old sheep says, Charlotte? Is it true they're going to kill me when the cold weather comes? Well, said the spider, plucking thoughtfully at her web. The old sheep has been around this barn a long time. She has seen many a spring pig come and go. If she says they plan to kill you, I'm sure it's true. It's also the dirtiest trick I've ever heard of. What people don't think of. Wilbur burst into tears. I don't want to die, he moaned. I want to stay alive right here in my comfortable manure pile with all my friends. I want to breathe the beautiful air and lie in this beautiful sun. You certainly are making a beautiful noise, snapped the old sheep. I don't want to die, screamed Wilbur, throwing himself to the ground. You shall not die, said Charlotte briskly. What? Really? Cried Wilbur. Who's going to save me? I am, said Charlotte. How? Said Wilbur. That remains to be seen, but I am going to save you, and I want you to quiet down immediately. You're carrying on in such a childish way. Stop your crying. I can't stand hysterics. And that certainly is some bad news for Wilbur. Tomorrow we're going to read the chapter called A Talk at Home. It's chapter 8. And I think a lot of times in the story we always hear about a problem that happens. And it seems to me that this worrying that he's having about being killed by the farmers is quite a big problem in this story. And there's always a hero. Who do you think the hero is in this story? Do you think it's going to be Charlotte? I think so too. Let's find out how she plans to save Wilbur from this horrible news. And we'll see you tomorrow.